Happy 2020. We starting it off with some good music. This is VHL's Next.
You're tuned into Black Hollywood Live, the world's first digital broadcast network devoted entirely to urban entertainment and pop culture. Tune in right now.
Hey.
Hey.
She wasn't ready for that.
I wasn't ready for the disco.
For the disco club
this
effect.
Is nice.
Yes, guys, what's
taking
up?
Them for the 99 and the 20s and the 2000s.
99 in the 2020.
99 in the 2020.
Hey guys, happy Sunday. This is BHL's Next. I'm your host, Rhelin T, and I have the wonderful Jennifer Claude in studio with me right now.
Hello.
Yes, girl. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you.
2020.
2020. We are back in the roaring 20s.
Oh, we are.
We're in the roaring 20s again.
Get my flapper dress out.
I need to find a party to go to.
I know. I need a Great Gatsby theme.
Get like a plus size flapper dress. Have all these legs out. I'm very excited. I'm gonna make that happen this year.
Well, there's so much happening for you.
Yes.
Let's get into it. So one thing that I found out is that you're part of this new show that's going to be on BET, Sacrifice. Paula Patton, you're part of putting together some music, am I right?
Yeah, I was
talk a little bit about that.
Excited about that. Mm-hmm. So if you haven't seen it, it started streaming December 19th on BET Plus. It's actually a really, really good movie. So a la Mary Jane, when they started that show, you got the movie portion of it and then started the series. Actual series.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So my song, I got my first film placement, or like on, I call it the on-screen film. So not big screen, but it's a big deal for me. And I was like, this is so dope. So I was super excited. I was like, it's a Paula Patton film. Oh my God. Right. So I'm having my moment. Like, I love Paula Patton. Like, Paula, if you can hear me, I love you so much. And, and everyone's like, did you meet her? I'm like, no, it was just my music, guys.
Yeah,
like,
the music's just in there.
I haven't met her yet.
But yet.
But not yet.
Not yet.
I'm speaking that into existence. I will meet her, I'm sure, and it'll be more and more opportunities. But no, that was such a big deal. And it's such a great movie. So if you haven't seen it, go stream it. I know, because
now they got the app and everything. You could just go ahead and listen to Miss Jennifer's song, y'all.
You can. It is. It's a song that I wrote, and an artist is singing it. Her name is Tommy Gabrielle. So she performed it, and it is, I will tell you exactly where it is in the movie.
Yes.
So it is in the film when Paula and her assistant is near the beginning, when they're sitting in her living room and there's some music playing in the background. That is my song.
That's the song. So, tell us about the song too and how you created it.
So the name of that song is Homicide. And it was me and one of my friends. He's a producer. His name is Rich. He's so dope. And I had gotten there and we were just playing around with some chords. And I had this line that I had been wanting to use in a song. Pull the trigger, 5 pounds of pressure, so go ahead and kill me. And he was like, what does that even mean? And I was like, it's like a gun. Like, it takes 5 pounds of pressure on a trigger to pull the trigger of a gun. You pull that hammer, it's 5 pounds of pressure. So I'm a nerd. There's no good reason why I know this. We'll talk about that later. I know lots of random information. But when I learned that, and I was like, I really want to put that in a song. That is the best, like, nerdy fact that ever.
Indeed. It'll go over a lot of people's heads.
Right. And so we were utilizing the metaphor of, like, bad relationship that you keep going back to, so like, pull the trigger, 5 pounds of pressure, go ahead and kill me. Homicide, he killed me, but I'm still going back. So that's how we created it. We did that song, and then Tommy had laid it down. I forgot all about it. And then my manager called me and was like, hey, we're putting the song in the movie. I was like, excuse me, what song? We did that song back in February, and I was like, oh my God, like, this is so exciting.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm excited. So I'm like, 2020 is going to be my year. Like, I plan on turning on the TV and hearing my music like everywhere. That's the goal, like placement.
I know a little bit, about who you are as, like, you say you're an artist, which is different because you have some skills underneath the belt, okay? So not just the singer-songwriter, you can play instruments, violin.
I am a violin player.
I used to play the violin.
Did you?
For a good 6 years, and then I stopped.
It hurts my heart when so many people are like, I used to play, but I quit.
I quit.
It's not enough of us brown people that we have to keep that going.
I was discouraged. I couldn't get that vibrato down. Like, I was like in class, everybody was like making their do the fight. I was like, I can't do. You know what?
So
that's okay.
My violin is in storage back home in North Carolina, and so I'm saving up to be able to ship that to me. I'm actually just gonna go home and pick it up and use it as a carry on because it's so expensive to ship instruments. Like, It's insane.
Really?
It is. But I've taken off a little bit because I had rented one from Guitar Center and was doing some stuff. I was like, this is stupid. I'm just going to wait till I get so I've been on violin break, so I've been able to get my nails done. So I've had my nails done for a while now. Hello. Because when you play the violin, you have to wear nubs that are painted. You know, it's the whole.
Yeah.
So I was like, I feel like a girl. Now I'm attached to my nails. And so when I get my violin back, I'm going to have to cut them all.
Dang, no more claws.
No more claws.
It's okay.
It's okay, though, for the love of the music.
For the love of me.
But yeah, I've been playing since I was 11. I love it. It is very therapeutic.
And is that what helped you get into songwriting and into singing, or?
Yeah, so it's just really weird. So I grew up in church. I think that's everyone's like I feel like
all musicians
every
in the church.
Every black artist, I started in church. I was in the choir, as all of us were, because that's how it happens. No, but I come from a musical family. I remember my first memory of music, I was like 3 or 4 years old, and I remember getting on my mom. She had this high back black piano in the house. One of those, it was very old school. It was beautiful though. And I just remember getting on there and banging out like a John P. Key song, Jesus is Real. The choir had sang it at church. And my mom tells me to this day, she was like, why are you in there on that? And then she was listening like, is she playing the song? And like I wasn't playing it, but I was like chording, like I was, Jesus is real. I know
on the piano.
So I'm on the piano, like banging it out, 3 or 4. And that's like literally my first memory of music. Like I remember trying to figure out how to play this out. I wanted it. It was my favorite song. I would sing it. The choir, I would be like, I love this song. I love John P. Key. So, and then. Fast forward a few years, I went through some crazy traumatic experiences as a kid, unfortunately, but fortunately, because it was what allowed me to unlock my writing. So I went through some things, ended up having to go to therapy for it. I was like 7 or 8, and one of the things that the therapist had told my mom was like, get her a journal, because I wasn't talking. It's amazing. I talk all the time now. But I went through a time in my life where I didn't talk. I didn't talk for like a year. The only person I really talked to was my mom. It was crazy. I didn't talk. Like I would say I was literally a mute kid, and I had a lot in my head, but just not. I couldn't get it out. And so my mom was like, the therapist was like, get her a journal, and I remember I got my first journal, and I was like 8, and I just started writing, and I wrote about everything. I would rhyme things. I would write. Just imagery. I love nature. I love being outside. I was such a tomboy. My mom would literally have to like beat me to come inside. Like, you're going to get a spanking. Like, I know the street lights are on, but just one more run around the block. So I was always that kid outside. I was always into nature. Always trying to do what all the big kids were doing. I grew up in a neighborhood, so it was very neighborhood oriented. Like I had my friends on the block. We grew up together. Like across the street, down the street, down this street. Like grandma lived on the, we're all on the block. But it really gave me an opportunity to just find my way, and I just started writing from there. I started writing songs. I started writing poetry. I used to get picked on because I was that kid in church, and they would be like, can you write us something? And I'd be like, okay. And then I became known as the girl who did poetry at church. So I had to write a poem for everything. Anniversary, church anniversary, choir anniversary, usher anniversary, pastor anniversary. And I'd be like,
I should have put you on the payroll.
Now that you say something, I need to reach out to somebody and figure that out. Excuse me, do we have backpay? Yeah, for all of these years that I have lit my entertainment services? No, it was for the Lord.
For the Lord.
It was for the Lord, child. But that's how I started. I started as a poet. I started writing, and it was from the trauma. It was from trauma. It's crazy. Again, it was a tool. My mom utilized a tool, and it helped me get the stuff out that I needed to say, and then I just found solace in that space. And I was such a weird kid growing up. I looked weird. My facial features were very prominent. I had to grow into my teeth and my lips and my nose, and I was just like, I'm just staying in my little bubble. And then I decided to start playing the violin when I was 10. So I was like, I'm adding fuel to my own fire. You're already a nerd, Jennifer, okay? You look odd, let's be clear, and now you want to pick up the violin. Like, what are we doing? So I was like, I'm committed to this nerdy space. I'm gonna live in it and just own it as my own, whatever. So I've always just
look how it
been
turned
determined.
out.
It's all good.
So then fast forward from there, how did you transition your love of music at such a young age to really be like, you know what, this is what I seriously want to do for most of my life.
So I went to school for music, but I was also majoring in like psychology and biology. So my plan, I was pre-med because
oh dang girl,
where I'm from, it's like, and I've seen it because I came from a musical family, and I've seen others kind of in the music industry, and then just kind of like it falls off, and so. What do you want to be when you grow up? A doctor. It was safe. I love kids. I had all these, like, the Dr. Barbie. I collected Barbie, so I was very committed to, I want to be a pediatrician. But music was always my thing, if that makes it. Music and poetry. So, like, even in school, like, for my thesis, I did, like, this jazz compilation piece, and I was always traveling with the orchestra, and, so it was, like, it was always
still a part of you,
So I went to college, had a meltdown. A lot of college is a blur. No, first couple years definitely. So I like cut all my hair off and came home and told my family. I was like, yeah, I'm not like gonna be pre-med anymore. My mom was just like, what? So I went through a lot of like trial and struggle, and like I was even doing like therapy, like healthcare therapy, like on the psychology end, because I was like, well, maybe I'll be a psychologist or psychiatrist. I love my therapist. It helped me get through some major things in life. But every time I would turn around, music was just always there. Yeah. Started doing poetry professionally. Mm-hmm. So I like a spoken word, I should say. Yeah. So I was traveling around back in North Carolina. I started working with a lot of big names there. Dasana Hanu was one of my mentors. My friend Yolanda, her name's Yogi with 2 eyes. LJ, Cardi. So they're really big names in spoken word back home, right? So I was like, oh, I'm rolling with these people. Like, this is good. So I'm finding myself. So I'm like, this is it. Cut my hair off. I'm going to be an artist. Don't know what kind of artist. Jill Scott's blown up at the time, and everyone's like, you're a big girl, you do poetry and you sing, so obviously you're the next Jill Scott. And I would be so angry. Like, do not compare me to Jill Scott. Jill, I love you. But at the time, I'm like, I want my own identity. And I just, it kind of like, it started evolving. And so I eventually was like, you know what? I'm going to be serious about this. Yeah. So 2014, I made my way out to LA because I was like, I'm part of ASCAP, and ASCAP was having their expo, and I was like, I'm gonna come out here and really figure out like, what do I have to do to reach my dreams? These are my dreams, and I'm gonna stop allowing other people to tell me what they want.
How they see you as an artist.
I want to figure out how I see me, and I have so many talents and things I actually literally like just love to do. Came out here. I spent 2 weeks out here, and it was life changing. I was able to get into Paramount and recorded 2 records over there. I ended up dropping my first single. One of those records ended up making it into like my first show placement.
Which one?
There's a single. It's on SoundCloud now. It's not in rotation anymore. There's a song called Fame. Okay. It was a song I did. I had wrote it. I was like, I'm gonna get this to Rihanna. It never got to Rihanna, but it shouldn't have at the time. It was like, it was not worth getting to Rihanna at all. Like now that I listen to it, I'm like, oh man, that was rough. But very proud of my music. And I made some really great connections when I first came here. And through the years, when I was back home, I was like, okay, I can do it. And then one thing led to another, and I was like, I have to get to LA. I'm not going to make it if I don't go after my dreams. And it's the perfect time in my life to do so. Mm-hmm. So here I am. Ta-da.
It's so funny. You talked about Jill Scott.
I love Jill, though.
Like, no lie. Jill, too.
And I'm to the point now where I'm like, okay, I see it. Thank y'all.
For real, when I first listened, I listened to Bad at Love first, which you're going to get into. But I listened to Voyage to the Sun. Yeah. And so that gave me such Jill vibes, It's different. That was low-key. I had to rewind that one back. I was like, let me hear what she really talking about for a second spin. No, it's really good. How do you feel when you listen to that again? Because it's almost 6 years ago.
6 years ago. I have so much poetry, so much recorded spoken word. It's nuts. When I actually drop my first project, which ideally I think that'll be this year sometime, like near the end of the year, I will have some poetry stuff on there.
Please.
For so long, I tried to get away from it. Some of it is like trauma built, like because I use my poetry to get through so many things. I'm like, I don't want to go back there. But my mom often tells me, like, God didn't just give you your gifts for nothing. You've literally been doing this all of your life, like,
and they always say too, if he gives you something you don't use it, it almost is like,
like it's a slap in the face. And so I'm finally to the point where I'm okay with who I am artistically. I listened to Voyage to the Sun. It's funny you said that because I listened to it a couple of days ago and I was like, man, I was gonna take it off rotation, like take it down, and I was like,
It's good.
It's who I am. And when I wrote that piece, I wrote that for one of my best friends, well, an ex-best friend, one of my best friends in college. We were like so tight in college, and he was going through some things. It was just a lot, and it was like an expression of, it was weird. It was like I wasn't in love with him, but I loved him from a very wholesome place. I don't know if that makes sense.
No, I know. I have a friend and her friend
so it was legitimately, and I wrote that piece, and then like years later I performed it, and I had, I was like, this is, so it was a dedication piece, and I was like, Voyage to the Sun, like at the end of the day, I just, while you're on your journey, just know that I wish you well, and this space is always here, like this is me watering that space. Go with God, kind of thing. So yeah, I mean, I love it, and I mean, I'm not gonna do away. But at one point, I was like, I am not doing any more poetry. I'm not doing it. I'm just like, it's my expression. I'm an artist, man. It is what it is.
Yeah. What is like your, I guess, not definition or idea of artists? Because I always say that there's people who make music and there's people who are actual artists, but some people don't really understand what I mean by that. But do you get what I'm saying, right?
I do. I think that anyone who expresses their heart through their product is an artist. I have a friend who's an engineer. He's amazing at it. I think he just now recently got into a relationship, but for so long he wasn't in one because that was his love. And people look at engineering like, well, that's a technical thing. You know what I mean? Like, it's technical. You're going through the music, but it's his art. It is literally his expresses himself. So the more I'm around friends in the industry and stuff, I realize that your art, like, oh, I don't sing. that doesn't matter. Whatever you do that you're passionate about, I feel like it makes you an artist. I have a friend of mine back home. She does hair. It is her passion. She is so good at it. She is so good at doing hair, and it is her passion. She will be up, like her back will be hurting. I've seen her working with a brace on, like she laying down like, I'm good. Give me 5 minutes. I'm back up. It's her passion. It's not even about the money. She don't even need to work that much anymore. She's worked so hard. She has money. She could take 3 clients a week and be good.
But the love for it.
But her love for it. So I feel like for me, artistry is what you do, your product that comes from that place inside where you're like, this is my heart. This is my love. And so for me, my writing, my production, when I'm in the studio, when I'm working with artists, voice lessons, by anything that I'm doing that comes from that space, that's my artistry. So people will be like, well, what are you? You have to define yourself. I'm Jennifer, who just so happens to have this little cup of stuff that I happen to do. And that is my artistry fully.
That's really nicely put. So speaking of your artistry, before 2019 ended, we had this single from you, Bad at Love. And to me, this is something, you hadn't dropped music, I feel like, in a while.
I had not.
And this sound is different for you. Very more so, like, heavily infused with, like, R&B.
So, I am a writer, and my goal was to come to LA, shut the music side down, and just write. My goal, like, I want to write, get all these placements, stack these checks, get them good royalty checks rolling, on a basis. Yeah. And then, maybe focus on the music because, you always hear it. No one ever really makes it, and, artistry. But we're living in such a dynamic age. The platforms now that are available to artists as far as streaming and, being able to put your work out there. You don't need labels anymore.
Self-advocacy is like at such a different time, especially to get your sound out there now.
It's crazy because I've been cutting all of my own demos for my songs.
Wow.
And I wrote this record, and I was upset about a situation that I was having to come to terms with, that I was just, it's something that hurt me really bad, and about a person that I loved, obviously, listening to the song. And so I wrote it. I had gone to the studio, and my engineer was like, we have to get this out. It's a dope concept. And I was like, I can't. Like, I'm literally in there crying. And he's like, no, we're going to get it. So just get it all out. So I'm in the booth like, just crying it out. Like, but we got it.
But engineer okay, I don't care about any of those tears.
Literally.
Still gonna make
he's all looking like, you good? You good? You all right? I'm like,
all right, I'm about to press record right now.
I don't think I can say that on air, what I was about to say, but I'm like, so, but no, so to get to the sound though, I've been trying to find a sound for me. There was something I knew I wanted to go into, and I didn't know what to call it, but I knew it when I heard it. And the more I've been writing, like for other people, I've been coming across that sound, and working with this particular engineer, it's been so dope because it has gone very R&B for me. And I'm like, I didn't know what it was that I was looking for till I heard it. And when I heard Bad at Love, I was like our finished product, I was like, this is a dope record. And I was planning on shopping it. And I was like, it's a dope record. And I sent it to one of my friends back home, and she was like, it's a dope record. She was like, it wasn't my favorite. She was like, I want you to release, it's another song I did. That she was like, and I was like, no, we're shopping that one. I was like, but I like this one. I let my manager hear it, and he was like, that's the one. And I was like, right? And I was like, I like it.
So I'm going to keep it to myself.
I think I'm going to keep it. So then I didn't say anything for like a week, and I hit him again. I was like, I think I'm going to keep it. And I was like, this is not a part of the plan. We have a plan. I am not releasing music. And he was just like, why not? Do it.
And so now we have this Bad at Love, and it's streaming everywhere.
It is streaming everywhere.
No excuses.
No excuses.
I actually have a little bit of a snippet. Let's see if we could play it from your Instagram.
I just wanted to be good enough. Really thought I took it deep enough. But you just won't take us serious. Took all my love and said you had enough. Tell me.
Yes. The clip always gets me. I'm always like, yes. Like it's not me.
Who that?
I'm like, it's not me. Hey, girl. But no, I feel like I did everything that I set out to do in the song, and I think that's why I love it personally so much, because I hit my sound. I did all my vocal production. We did the drops. I got the, what I wanted out of it. Me and my engineer were sitting there going back and forth. It took us about 4 hours. We cut it and then had to get it mixed, and I was just like, this is it. I love this. And I didn't want to put a sad song out. Yeah. I didn't want to put a song out because the songs that tell me why am I so bad at love? And I'm such a big proponent of, you have to watch what you speak. But at the end of the day, too, one of my best friends said something to me that resonated, and it was actually the catapult that pushed me where they said I'm going to do it, because she said, well, Jen, sometimes the best thing you can offer a person is understanding. And I was like, okay,
you might be right.
But it made sense. She was like, sometimes like people don't need, advice. They don't need a resolution. They don't even need you to chime in. Sometimes you really just have to be a shoulder, and your song is a shoulder. Your song is literally a space where you were feeling how you felt, and you wrote what you wrote, because how you feel is how a lot of people can feel. And I was like, true. I was like, well, true. So when I released it, I was like, the whole point of it is to allow yourself to feel what you feel, because I think healing is so necessary. Yeah. And sometimes we skip over how we feel about things and just push it away, and then. And
I just feel like sometimes with.
Oh Lord.
Sorry, girl. It's okay. Sometimes with music too. That's what I feel. To me, that's why I don't give certain artists maybe a chance when I know that I feel like you just really wanted to go in the booth and just make something for shock value rather than give me a feeling that I need to feel. Right. And that's what music should be.
You can feel. Give me something I can feel, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. What's that old song? I'm not even gonna do something I can feel. Look, we're both over here like, what is it? Y'all know what song we talking about. I'm gonna have to look it up.
Don't play.
But no, like that's what it was. And like the song literally was written like when I still have the voice note of when I was actually home when I had got the beat, and I like the line came to me immediately, and I'm just like, tell me why am I not good? So when I'm listening back to my voice note in the studio, I was like, what was I on? Like it was like 3:00 in the morning, and I like weeping, you know what I mean? But it was like, it was cleansing, it was necessary. Yeah. And it's crazy. So many people have just reached out to me like, wow, like I've heard the song, thank you. And people are like telling me like, I've heard the song and thank you for making this, because I feel this. People that you wouldn't even expect. People I wouldn't. I'm like, oh, I thought you were good. Like, really? Thanks. But it's like we all go through things, and we all feel like we're not good enough for something, and it really sucks when it's, especially relationships, even job situations, where you put your all into a job, and then all of a sudden it's like, thank you, but now we're letting you go. Yeah. Godspeed. What? I have given this job all of my life for the past, so it is a common feeling. And it's something we all go through. And I think that sometimes it's okay to just feel how you feel. Yeah. And then at some point you got to get yourself up and push on. But yeah.
Definitely. So look, while I have you, I do have one more segment that I want to get into.
Okay.
You're my guest, but now we want to be co-host as we get into our music news. So,
yay!
Did you know in 2020 we got some albums, all these albums that I am about to say, or if you are watching us on YouTube, what you're about to say, are turning 20 years old.
Wow.
This year.
I want to just get up and walk out. I'm so old.
They're turning 20.
Oh my God.
First of all, that little Bow Wow, I think it's what, Unleashed?
Look,
not
I'm
Unleashed.
over here like...
That one? Ooh, child.
Little Bow Wow. I remember that. I remember that came out, and I was like,
remember that Maya one had Case of the X.
This record got me through high school. I would listen to this on the volleyball bus.
It's after midnight and she's on your phone.
We would warm up to this.
The Fear of Flying album. Yeah.
That production. I was like, yes.
When you hear that song drop, you already know what Diamond is.
Right. Everything off of NSYNC. I'm not gonna lie. I know every song, every single one
of NSYNC. This is the bye bye bye. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Ja Rule. That Ja Rule one was good though too. Oh, Jagged Edge, Heartbreak.
Oh yeah, I was like, this is crazy.
Oh,
man,
Jill Scott
worth this. Listen, I'm trying to tell you, I love the album, and then I just would have to lie and be like, it's all right. Because I was really in my phase of like, just don't compare me. But I think she's amazing. She's so amazing.
I remember when my auntie had that song playing, and she's talking about. I would never forget. I always associate that album with Breakfast. Because maybe some breakfast. I'm like, grits.
I have covered that song to scrambled it. So, fun fact, we cover the song. I do it a lot, and I'll just switch up the breakfast items. I'm like, French toast, huevos rancheros. What? Huevos rancheros.
I am going to now do that when I hear
So anytime I cover the song, I just change up the breakfast items. I just be like, whatever. Cream of wheat and bacon. Excuse me, how do you make this fit? Listen, I've been doing it
That's
too long.
not what I remember. Like 3LW, I used to have that one.
Is that Pink? Oh,
yes.
This was the album where they had this song where they threw the motorcycle out the window.
Which
you
one?
remember? You remember that song?
Let's Get It Started on this one?
Was that Case of the X? No, that wasn't Case. That was Maya. But Pink, it was that song.
What song?
I think it was the one with, did Dallas Austin do that song? Listen, I can't remember, but I just remember she threw the motorcycle out the window. Like she was driving it, and then she threw it at her boyfriend.
Oh, yeah.
You remember that video?
I do know.
That's all I remember.
Wait, I just realized Pink has always been like crazy abusive and all this.
I mean, Pink, listen, she's always, I guess, had an invitation.
Toni Braxton's album with the He Wasn't Man Enough was on there. That's turning 20.
Yeah. Is that 20
Nelly.
Years? What else was up there?
Let me see. Let's see. Oh yeah, Britney Spears. That Britney Spears album with the shingles. I wanted the shingles to be in my house.
Me too. Same.
Just because of that.
3LW.
Oh yes. No, this album from top to bottom.
Music. That's when
I
decided my whole neo soul thing. I was like, yes.
Yes.
He definitely. Yes.
D'Angelo. Voodoo.
I still feel like I'm not grown enough for that video.
How does it feel?
I don't know. I can't think about that.
Are you grown up for the album cover? Look at the album cover.
That album cover.
Nelly. That Nelly one was.
Child.
Damn, 20 years old. 2020.
I remember that. Nelly with that. Oh, are we out of time?
Oh, yeah. But it's okay. Look.
I'm like, uh-oh.
Well, before we get out of here.
The little timer went down.
It was like, but here, before we get out of here, what do you plan to do in 2020? What can we expect from you? And then let everyone know where they can follow you so that way they can keep up with Miss Jennifer Claude.
Keep up with me, please. 2020 is going to be a big year. So lots of writing. So yes. I plan on doing, God willing, more placements in film and television. You can find my music there. I am going to be releasing another single February-ish. Ideally the end of February. Okay. And then we're going to be doing some projects. So just keep up with me because I'll be releasing some music on SoundCloud too. Okay, I want to just give some music out.
All right.
Just put some music out there and then a project at the end of the year. So
Looking forward to it.
Goals.
So let them know where they can follow you.
You can follow me. I am JDOTCLAUDE across all platforms. So you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. What else do I have? Oh, my SoundCloud. I keep forgetting SoundCloud is like a social media. But yeah, go find me, go follow me. And let's interact. I'm excited. It's going to be a big year for music, man.
I know. I'm excited, guys. And make sure to stream the BET movie Sacrifice so y'all can hear Homicide.
So you can hear Homicide
by Jennifer Claude.
And then don't forget to go stream Bad at Love.
Bad at Love.
Streaming everywhere. Tidal, Apple Music, Spotify, Google Play, Amazon, Deezer. Everywhere.
No excuses, guys.
No excuses.
Happy 2020. I will see you guys next Sunday. Bye.
Bye.
On behalf of our BHL staff, we would like to thank you for tuning in to Black Hollywood Live, the world's first digital broadcast network devoted entirely to urban entertainment and pop culture. Check out our Black Hollywood Live YouTube page for even more great programming and amazing content, and be sure to subscribe and like our channel when you do. I'm your BHL host, Nakia Monet, and you can find me on all social media at Kiki Boom Boom or at Black Hollywood Live. Black Hollywood Live, Hollywood redefined.